It was supposed to be a normal flight, just another journey over endless forest. But something felt wrong. The engine began to make a strange sound, a deep metallic grinding noise. The pilot looked ahead, tense, silent. The plane started to shake gently at first, then harder and harder. Warning lights flashed across the cockpit. And in that moment, everything changed. The aircraft dropped suddenly. The ground rushed closer, far too fast. Trees stretched endlessly below. There was nowhere to land. No roads, no people, nothing. The pilot tried to regain control, but the system had already failed. The plane tilted violently to one side. The cabin filled with fear. And then the impact came. Everything went completely silent. No voices, no movement, just stillness. A heavy, terrifying silence. Slowly, he opened his eyes. His vision blurred and shaking. Pain spread through his entire body. The wreckage lay scattered around him. Smoke drifted into the cold air. The forest stood still, watching, as if it knew he didn't belong. He tried to move, but it hurt. Every breath felt heavier. Every movement burned inside. But somehow, he was alive. Still breathing, still conscious. Alone in the wilderness. With no one to call for help. No signal, no escape. Just trees and silence. And the will to survive. The sun was already going down. Darkness would come very soon. And with it, danger. He knew he had little time. Survival had already begun. He forced himself to stand up. His legs shook under the pain. The ground felt unstable beneath him. But he stayed up somehow. Because falling was not an option. He turned back toward the wreckage. There had to be something useful. Anything that could help him survive. He stepped carefully through the debris. Broken seats, twisted metal, scattered bags. Then he saw something. A small bottle, half buried. Water still inside. He picked it up slowly. And for the first time, there was hope. The air was getting colder. The light was fading fast. He needed shelter quickly. Night in the forest was not safe. He gathered broken pieces nearby. Metal sheets, torn fabric, branches. His hands trembled with exhaustion. But he kept working without stopping. Every second mattered now. Darkness was coming. The sky dimmed into deep blue. Shadows stretched across the ground. The forest began to chain. Sounds grew louder, sharper. Leaves rustled in unseen places. Something moved in the distance. He froze, listening carefully. His heartbeat echoed in his ears. But nothing appeared. Only silence again. He finished a small shelter. It wasn't strong, but it would do. Just enough to block the wind. Just enough to hide. He sat down slowly, pain still burning inside. The cold crept into his bones. He needed warmth. He reached for the lighter. Hopping it would work. Dry leaves, small sticks. A single spark. Then another. And finally, flame. A small fire came to life. Light danced across his face. Shadows flickered around him. The darkness pushed back slightly. But not completely. Never completely. He stared into the fire, lost in thought and fear. Every sound made him alert. A branch snapped somewhere far. He looked up instantly. Eyes wide, breathing slow. The forest was awake. And it was watching. Waiting. For a mistake. Sleep did not come easily. His body was tired. But his mind refused to rest. Every shadow felt alive. Every sound felt closer. Then suddenly, a distant roar. Deep and powerful. Not human. Not safe. Morning light broke through the trees. He opened his eyes, slowly. The fire had faded. Ashes remained, cold and still. But he had survived the night. And that meant something. It meant another chance. Another day to fight. He stood up carefully. His body still weak. Hunger had already begun. His stomach empty and aching. Water was running low. He needed more. He looked around, thinking. Remembering something. Water flows downhill. He started walking, slowly. Following the slope. Step by step. Time passed quietly. The forest stretched endlessly. His legs grew heavier. His throat dry. Then he heard it. A faint sound. Flowing water. He turned quickly. Hope rising. He moved faster. A river appeared ahead. Clear, cold, moving. He dropped to his knees. Hands shaking. He drank carefully. Slow, controlled. The water felt like life. Refreshing, restoring. For a moment, he felt human again. But hunger remained. Stronger now. He searched nearby bushes, looking for anything edible. Small berries caught his eye. He hesitated. Could they be safe? Or deadly? He tested slowly. Waiting. No reaction. No pain. He ate a few more. Carefully. It wasn't much. But it was enough. Enough to continue. Enough to survive. One more step. One more day. The forest was not empty. It never was. As he moved, he noticed something. Tracks on the ground. Large, deep, fresh. Not human. His breath slowed. His senses sharpened. He looked around. Carefully. The air felt heavier. Quiet, too quiet. Then movement. A shadow between trees. Slow, deliberate. Watching him. His heart pounded hard. Every instinct screamed danger. But he didn't run. He could. Running could trigger attack. He stepped back slowly. Eyes fixed forward. The shadow moved closer. Still hidden. Still silent. Then suddenly, it stopped and disappeared. Gone. He stood still, frozen. Waiting. Listening. Nothing. But the message was clear. He was not alone. And he was not safe. Not even close. He turned back. Slowly. Every step careful. Every sound sharp. He reached his shelter. Relief, but only slightly. He needed protection. More than before. He gathered sharp sticks. Built small barriers. Around his camp. A warning. The fire burned again. Stronger this time. Brighter, louder. It gave him comfort. But also fear. Light attracts attention. And attention brings danger. Still, he needed it. For warmth. For survival. The sky darkened, suddenly. Clouds gathered, heavy and thick. The wind began to rise. Leaves swirled around him. A storm was coming. Vast. He rushed to prepare. Strengthening the shelter. Adding more branches. Tying everything tight. The first drops began to fall. Cold and heavy. He looked up at the sky. Lightning flashed across the clouds. Thunder shook the ground. The rain grew stronger. Relentless. He moved inside the shelter. Water leaked through the gaps. He tried to block it quickly. The fire started to fade. Smoke rose, weak and thin. He shielded it with his hands, protecting the last flame. Wind pushed against the shelter. It trembled dangerously. He held the frame tightly, refusing to let go. The storm raged for hours. Time felt endless. His body shivered uncontrollably. Cold seeped into his bones. But he endured silently. Because he had to. Because giving up meant death. Slowly, the rain eased. The thunder faded away. The wind calmed down. Only dripping water remained. He stepped outside carefully. The forest was soaked. Everything felt different. Quieter, calmer. He looked around, assessing damage. The shelter still stood barely. The fire was gone. But he was alive. And that was enough. He gathered wet wood, trying to restart the fire. Spark after spark. Finally, a small flame. He fed it gently, protecting it this time. Warmth returned, slowly. Hope followed. The storm had passed, but the struggle continued. Days turned into routines. He woke with the sun, collected wood every morning, checked the river for water, searched for food, learned what to trust and what to avoid. He became more careful, more aware, more alive. The forest was no longer strain. It became familiar, almost like home. But danger never left. It stayed hidden, watching, waiting. He adapted slowly, built stronger shelter, made better fire, stored food carefully. He was changing, becoming something else, something stronger. One day, everything shifted. A sound in the distance, different from the forest. He stopped instantly, listening carefully. It came again, louder. A faint, mechanical noise. His eyes widened. Hope rising again. He ran toward the sound, through trees and mud, faster, ignoring pain. Then he saw it. A helicopter in the sky, far but visible. He waved frantically, shouting with everything he had. The helicopter moved past. For a moment, it didn't see him. His heart sank, but he kept shouting, refusing to give up. Then suddenly, it turned, back toward him. Hope became real. He ran into the open, waving both arms. The helicopter descended, slowly. Wind blasted around him. He fell to his knees, overwhelmed with relief. Rescue had come. He was no longer alone. Hands reached out toward him. Voices called from above. They had found him. After everything, he survived. He looked back at the forest. One last time.